Hi everyone, I'm Mas from YLTI and I made this cutting board. Yes, I made this with only hand tools and this video is pretty much about hand playing, but it was a good hand playing exercise, so let's see how I made it. I bought S4S cherry and birch because they were on sale and they are closed grain lumber, which is good for a cutting board. Well, this birch was tight and the elasticity is high, so it took time to cut, but the cherry was really easy to rip cut. And the reason I used these 3/4 of an inch lumber is, it's thin, so it's easier to cut straight by handsaw and a good straight cut will reduce the amount of hand planing. Ah, yes, this is S4S, but no S4S lumber is ever a seamless joint ready from my experience. Now I'm working on the face. First of all, I'm making the reference face. Just the thing is, as I wanted to use my edge planing board to clean the edge at the next step, I decided which face to do hand planing first according to the edge grain direction, so I can plane it with grain easily. And sometimes the grain goes the opposite way than how it looks, so I usually mark which is the correct way to plane every time I finish planing one face. This helps me to avoid an oopsie tear out moment. Now I use the one face as a reference and I'm trying to square one edge. I can just plane it in the sideway, which I will do, but to get rid of the majority of the waste, it's quicker to plane it this way. If your board doesn't sit on the edge well, you can roughly flat the other side too. This process doesn't need to be that accurate. And here I finalized the edge to make it square. The previously surfaced face is on the bottom side now. Moving on to the other face, I marked the parallel line by a marking gauge. I'm not gonna lie, I was originally going to make this video as everyone can make a cutting board with hand tools. So, after I get almost the correct face, I started to make a stupid jig prototype. Yeah, if you have seen my other videos, you know this is a plain thread that I often use for thin pieces. I thought it's a good jig to make a perfect parallel face, but for this size of wood, it's extremely hard to pull the plane, so I decided not to use this thread. So my advice is, just take your time to make them as perfect as possible. This time it may take a longer time than you expected, but after you finish all of them, you'll be much better at hand planing. And I'm finally correcting the other edge to be square just like how I did for the other side. If you are good at making a whiteboard flat, you don't need this process, but this will make the final hand planing process after glue up significantly easier. Well, this day was actually a rainy day, so I wasn't able to make all pieces the same height, but they are at least almost the same. Oh, please give me one moment to make an announcement. I've designed some shirts including my logo one. So if you are interested in it, it's on 15% off sale now, so please check the store from the description. Moving on to the glue up, I used the 220 grit sandpaper to rough up the gluing surface. I believe this helps a better adhesion of both. Oh well, I hate the gluing process, but I try to be extra careful not to mess up the grain directions of each board. Just in case I prepared all my clamps, but I think 4 clamps going sideways plus 2 coils were more than good enough. It seemed like I did a good job on the glue up, so I cleaned the excess amount of the glue by my mini hand plane. As the bottom of the board was aligned well and just needed to be flat, there wasn't much to do but just planing. For the other side, this is my scrub plane, and I check the marking line on the sides often to make it close to parallel to the bottom. And then, finally, I smooth the face to finish, but by this time, my hand plane needed to be sharpened. It's almost there, and now I should cut the end grain, but my cut was bad. Both ends weren't as clean as I wanted, so I needed to do hand plane on them too. I've never done hand plane on the end grain in this way, but it surprisingly went well. Just don't forget to loosen the chip breaker when hand planing on the end grain or your plane will vibrate or bump a lot. And putting a little bit of water on the end grain to soften it will also help you. After that, I chamfered the board and I sanded the board with a 400 grit sandpaper. This is just for roughing up the surface so it absorbs the mineral oil better. Okay, so this is the real final process that I put 4 coats of mineral oil. I know that people make a dramatic scene about how oil changed the color of wood, but I have no skill to shoot it well, so sorry, this is all I can do. And then after I put the feet, and here's what I made. This is one of a few projects that I completed without a mistake, so I'm really happy with it. And yeah, some people may say I need a juice groove, but I just prefer the one without it so I can have a bigger surface to cut. Anyways, I really think this is a good project for a hand tool woodworking beginner to improve an essential skill, so why don't you try it? Thank you so much for watching. I would be happy if you liked the video and happier if you subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestion to my video, it's also welcome. See you!